My name's Eddie Nestor. Profession. I play music sometimes. I'm a broadcaster. I'm writing blogs. I'm just a survivor. I'm an entertainer.
My name is Ellen Thomas. I'm an actor, director, producer, and I have leanings towards entrepreneur.
Okay, my name's Toinek Betu. I'm a curator and head of education and social policy at Likali organisation. And I suppose I'm a artist, activist, writer, filmmaker, and jack of all trades, master of none, I guess.
My name is Ty. I'm a hip hop artist, enthusiast, activist, and just a member of the English black population and the English community as well.
My name is Akala, and I'm a hip hop artist and social entrepreneur, I suppose, of some sorts from London.
My name is John Z.D. and I'm a hip hop theatre artist, arts programmer, an MC, and a dancer.
I was inspired by Muhammad Ali. I kind of just loved the confidence, pure African manhood, the bravado, the principles. It's very rare in that time, and even now, to find someone who was on top of their game, involved in sports, and still prepared to sacrifice all for their principles. And I'm, of course, talking about the Vietnam draft when he refused to fight for the American government.
When I was a child, the first black man to make me feel proud was Cassius Clay. I imagine lots of people will say that. Later to be known as Muhammad Ali.
So, to me, I would say African icons, past and present. And we would have to go from people like Imhotep, designer of the oldest pyramid still standing, first, the father, true father of medicine before Hippocrates acknowledged that, to the intellectual culture throughout Egypto-Nubian civilization, to the Mandingo Empire, to the various civilizations across Africa and the pioneers of art, science, mathematics, architecture, some of whom have now, names have become lost to history, some of whom have stayed.
Marcus Garvey definitely stands out as one of the main black heroes in my experience. He was one of the first that took a stand around the time slavery still existed quite clearly in Jamaica.
The first that springs to mind, Marcus Garvey, for standing up for our rights and our freedom of speech.
Baba John Henrik Clark. God, I'm speechless just thinking about him. There's something about the way he articulates history. It just feels like, it's one of your grandparents sitting down under the Bible tree. Like whenever I'm in the motherland and I'm talking to our elders, that feel hits me, that kind of, here is pure, unadulterated wisdom.
One, I'm going to say Muhammad Ali, and I'm going to say, the reason why I'm going to say that is because basically, for the time that he came from, for the job and profession that he has, which is so ego-based, for him to actually actively represent and shine in the media and be a beacon of black excellence and actually have some sort of integrity is something that is so rare, especially for now. Especially now that we look at modern day and how, Ashley Cole. Anyway, just not impressed with that.
The thing that makes these people icons has been their attempt to reaffirm and re-establish an African identity to the best of their abilities.
Angela Davis, Afro-wearing, black fist-having panther. She was great for being very outspoken and strong, outspoken female in the late 60s, early 70s.
For me, I'm going to say, and it might seem a little cliche, but Harriet Tubman, just for the whole kind of thing that she achieved with the line.
But I totally admire females like Harriet Sojourner, who just didn't take no for an answer. And you get a feeling that they were like bulldozers, and it was, if you're not going to help me, just get out of my way. And onwards. It has to be done. And yes, why not me? That spirit, to have that spirit now, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Okay, when I look at particular people, I'm looking at the bravery, because at the time, there's a lot, in our current time, there's lots of things that people would never dream of doing because they don't want to get caught out, they don't want to get arrested, they don't want to do all those sort of things. So when I look at the context of what Harriet Tubman did, she really, for me, epitomized strength and actual resolve and integrity. So for me, Harriet Tubman is my first and foremost black female that I'd like to celebrate.
And I'd like to start with somebody who started work in Chicago, came along, worked at a local station, but is certainly the only black billionaire I know in America. So powerful is this woman that, they threatened to sue her because she talked about hamburgers. So powerful is this woman that she effectively told us who to vote for, not us because we're not Americans, but who to vote for in the presidential elections. I honestly believe that without Oprah Winfrey's sanction, vote, backing, then Barack Obama would not be American president today.
Memphis Minnie and Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who pioneered blues guitar soloing before black men. See, because the tradition of blues solo guitar playing that so heavily influenced rock music, if people do admit that black people were at the root of it, they'll give you Muddy Waters, right? They'll give you Little Richard. But that's because history is not only racist, it's sexist. So they won't give you Memphis Minnie and Sister Rosetta Tharpe, you understand? But those sisters were pioneering this thing before the man.
Winnie Mandela, yeah? A lot of people big up Nelson Mandela, and of course you have to big up Nelson Mandela because he did time for the struggle. But Winnie was out there, you know what I mean? In all of them times when Nelson was in jail, she was out there on the front line, risking a lot, you know what I mean?
Maya Angelou, I had the greatest honor of working with her and totally love her, totally fell in love with her. Her books just speak to the child, the woman in me. The period when she went to Africa and all those experiences were absolutely amazing.
I would like to give them the significant credit of actually being the forerunners for the next and the next and the next generation of people that rap in this country, alongside, Smiley culture and the reggae movement, Cookie Crew, and actually being women with integrity on television. First and foremost, I haven't seen anything like that since. To be honest, I think Miss Dynamite is the continuation of those type of stereotypes in music that we can actually be like, yeah, this girl's never going to chat foolishness. And I think Cookie Crew started that.
My vote, and I'm sorry that I've stayed quite contemporary with mine, but my vote is for Lennox Lewis, the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. Go on. And I love the fact that he played Bob Marley's Ballad into the ring, because, what we're talking about when kids or people watch things, right? You want to know, right? You're surviving, you're doing your bit in a white world or whatever it might be. But he wasn't any Frank Bruno.
So you have to understand the culture that deeply. So for people of African heritage to think that we're ever going to repair the situations we find ourselves in without an accurate understanding of our own culture and history, and that to understand our culture and history makes us radical or overly Afrocentric, or to have natural hair, is a statement. No, it's just my natural hair. We have to do away with all this nonsense and get comfortable in not just even understanding our own icons. From we understand our own icons, we can be much more comfortable in understanding other people's. See, one of the problems with current education, I don't want to veer off too much because I know that the question specifically about our icons, but I think this is important because once you're grounded in your own intellectual culture, you can read Shakespeare and not be intimidated because you know who the African equivalents are. You know that the oldest literature in the world is African, so there's no need for you to be intimidated.
Black history is your history, our history, world history.